And good morning, Ozarks. Welcome. Glad you're here. Lauren and I have nothing to talk about today. So after this, tune back in. You can watch us stare at the camera for 45 minutes.
It'll be fun.
We'll be back after this. Did you see our bacon?
I did see the bacon.
The bacon.
I just glanced up and saw the bacon.
Yeah, season 4
bacon.
It's hard to believe we've been doing this for 4 years.
Isn't that wacko?
It's a little crazy, and there's still people still watch.
Yeah, I know. Good morning. Speaking of wackos, good morning, Beth.
Oh,
you're our favorite
Beth.
waffle wacko. It is going to be a beautiful couple of pre-spring days. Get out and enjoy the beautiful weather. Yeah. It's going to be nice.
I can't remember if I've told this story before, but the guys at Los Compadres, they're almost every morning for breakfast around 6:45 or 7, and got to be pretty good friends with Elkin, who's in there. He's up here. He's from Colombia.
Love the bacon. Don't make fun of me. We're all a little wacko.
Everybody loves the bacon. So we had the icy winter there, and then when I broke my shoulder.
Yeah.
And then it was
the date of the incident.
Yeah, the incident. Like a Lost. Did you ever watch that show, Lost?
I've seen a couple episodes.
I
didn't watch the whole thing.
They talk about the incident. Well, it got incredibly disappointing, but
that's what I heard.
That's for another day, maybe. I don't know. But then, it got warm. It was like 60. I think it hit 70 one day.
It did.
And he asked me, he said, so is winter over?
No.
Like,
no, sir.
Oh, no, my friend.
No.
It's not over.
We're in false spring.
Yeah, this is false spring. There'll be true winter is coming up.
Yeah,
this was just
it's coming. There is always a range of emotions this time of year. I'm at that point where I am ready to do yard projects. And the weekend weather was fine yesterday to do that, because I did. But before that, it had not been so great. And, oh my gosh, I keep going off of our feed. What am I doing? Anyway, it's going to be one of those classic situations where all of the plants, like I have tulips and daffodils and all that stuff coming up.
Yep.
And it'll come. The cold.
Yes. It's
cold.
It is a little early to start with the yard work, isn't it?
I did. This is like a pathway project, so I'm not planting stuff. Is it true, and somebody told me this, and they're a smart person, so I believe this to be true, that plants, they bud, I hate to use the word bud out, but they form their buds, and that's what pushes their leaves off. So plants have their buds through the winter, or trees, and then they, bud out in the spring. I think that's true.
It makes sense.
And I never thought about it.
It makes sense. I don't know. May have to ask Carol.
I'll just ask Carol.
Our
I like Carol. She's delightful.
Yeah, she's a lot of fun. She's going to be at the Lawn and Garden Show this weekend.
That's fun.
At the Ozark Empire Fair, so you can go out there.
Talking about Will's other show.
Yeah, we did last night.
Will and Carol Save the Planet.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
It is fun.
We had a good conversation last night with Gayla Pruitt, who has some really wonderful insight into our medical care, healthcare situation.
Because that's a situation.
It's a whole situation.
It's a thing.
We won't rehash that today, but you can go to gaylapruitt.com if you want to find out more about her. She's kind of a telejournalist, all-around creative, too.
So that's cool.
Yeah, it was really cool to have her on the show. When I did the IMDb entries, she was already in there.
She's like, oh, she's there.
She's there. She's already there.
Gayla's, she's ahead of the pack. She's there.
No, she was cool. She was a lot of fun to talk to. But
yeah, no, it was one of those weekends where I was like, we're getting outside. It's happening. So we went and played pickleball yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Now,
it was fun.
How long have you been on the pickleball bandwagon?
My debut was yesterday.
Oh, yeah? I'm not there yet. I'm highly encouraged. Just this weekend, we were at Fleet Feet, and my friend Dave Noakes was there, and he's like, "Are you playing pickleball?" I'm like, "No."
No.
But
no, sir.
Everybody's playing pickleball, and I guess we'll play pickleball at some point.
It's fun. I don't know the rules. We got a pickleball set.
That's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
Is when you don't know the rules.
We got a pickleball set for Christmas, and so the girls, me and Jesse could play. And we go out to the old, Jesse goes, we'll go over to the tennis courts by the school. And I was like, okay. And it's always funny being married because, a lot of times you think you're thinking the same thing, but you're thinking different things.
Yes.
So we show up and we go to that older tennis court, like by the middle school. And he pulls in there and I'm like, oh, okay. It was really windy. Well, pickleballs are like giant wiffle ball, the one that we have in our set. I don't know if that's standard. I don't know.
I believe it is.
Anyway. So they're light. Mm-hmm. So, I was hitting into the wind, which means I was having to crank it hard, right?
So, do they have like the little holes in them like
These
a wiffle ball?
Yes. Now,
now that makes it fun because you get the right kind of English on one of them things. You can hit some fun shots.
Oh, you can have a wicked googly easily.
Yeah.
So, I'm hitting really hard just to get it over the net. And at one point, I hit a backhand. I was flying through the air. I felt like Andre Agassi in the air. Like in the air, it felt so good. And I'm like in a running stride, backhanded, hit it over the net. Then I hit the ground. It was very painful. 10 out of 10, don't recommend.
You seriously dove in pickleball?
No, I didn't dive. But I just did a flying backhand leap.
Yeah. And
it looked so cool. And it felt cool. But the minute I hit the ground, my feet did. I'm like that shock of,
yeah, because it's concrete, right?
Yeah. It's like a hard tennis court. And then we got back in the truck and we were leaving, and I pointed at the tennis courts over by the high school, the nice ones.
Like, you could have played on those, Jesse.
And I'm like, those may have blocked the wind some. And Jesse's like, I didn't even know those existed. I'm like, you've driven by them a million times. I thought that's where we were going.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was funny.
Well, you could have met the one. Well, they converted all the ones at the Rogersville Park. Those are all basketball courts now, right?
That makes sense that's what that used to be. I had never thought about it. There is a court at the park.
I know those were tennis courts
that
at
makes
one
sense.
point. Yeah.
There's just one. So I don't know if they cut part of it off because I think there's only one. To me, that would be only one tennis court. Now it's a basketball court.
Yeah, no, great idea,
used
Beth.
A lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Pickleball court, that'd be fun.
Well, they did. They put a pickleball net up on the court at one point. I don't know what happened to it. I don't know if it's something that they bring out like during the spring. I don't know.
They better make it out of chain.
That was my thought. You can't. Yeah, you can't trust anybody with anything. You just can't have nice things.
Well,
it was fun.
2 times in a row, Lauren, I have desired, planned, and failed to come by that open house on Sunday afternoons.
I was busy.
Because that just looks majestic.
It is majestic. It's so we're talking about we'll call it the Old Methodist Church.
That is correct.
It's on Main Street, but you park off is it Beatty or is it Beatty? Do you know?
I think we call it Beatty.
Beatty? Okay.
I'm willing to sit corrected on that one.
I don't know. There's a couple of roads that I don't know how to pronounce. I know how I pronounce them, but I don't know if that's the correct way.
I think we say Beatty.
Pedello or Pedalo is another one of those.
It's Pedalo.
Pedalo?
Yeah,
okay.
It's Pedalo.
Because that to
I
me
know
is
that
Pedello.
One. No, it's Pedalo.
Pedalo. Okay, so anyway, we're talking about the old Methodist Church, and you can classify it as that because it's an interesting story, and I've become more interested in it because my relatives were some of the original charter members of the Methodist Church, and like there's a page about it in the History of Rogersville book that they put together a while ago, and that would be my great grandfather. I'm not real sure.
So you got some Rogersville ties.
Oh, 100%.
Okay,
yeah, way back. His name was Thomas Compton Vasseur, and he was at one point the superintendent. He had the hardware store. He actually lived right across. He would have known your family because he lived literally right across the street from the upper elementary.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the White House that now has a maroon metal roof.
Yeah.
That was his house.
Yeah, Barnard, and then the land where the upper is now, and through Highway 60, and then across all of that. That was a peach orchard that my family on my mother's side owned.
And he lived there until like 1950 around that time frame when he passed away. And so he was very much, he had, like I said, hardware store, superintendent of schools at one point.
Yes.
His, let's say, kids, they were railroad people, I think, and so they got moved out and moved, and like Pearl Swearingen, you know her?
Oh yeah,
Pearl
for sure.
remembers him.
Yeah.
Pearl's rented a room from him and his wife Amanda.
Okay.
On his second story of that house.
There was a lady around here by the name of Compton that I remember. I want to say Anna.
I don't know.
Somebody out there knows.
Vasseur would have been the main.
My mom probably
name.
knows if she. Oh, mom's watching. Mom, who am I talking about? You can tell
Mom,
me.
help.
Who am I talking about?
So anyway, we do have ties to Rogersville. They left for a while, right? After they passed, there wasn't any family members here, and then we ended up back here. But so anyway, basically they decided we need to create a church. There were several churches. We need to create a church, and so in 1912 it was decided that they would create a Methodist church in that spot. So they built a church, and I don't think it was a full-blown, I think it was a pretty simple building, let's call it, I think, based off of what I can tell. Well, on the Christmas Eve of 1935, they had a fire, and it burned. Oh. And then they built...
candlelight service?
I don't know. I hope that would be embarrassing, but... Well, we've burned the church.
It's bound to happen.
I don't know. Who knows what. Let's
turn off the lights and give candles to kids.
Yeah. So I don't know, but anyway, the church burned, and so then in 1936, the building, as we all know and see it and have a long time, was built. Yeah. And then in the 60s, that fellowship hall side was added on to it, and so my people bought it about 3 years ago, and maybe it's coming up on 4 now, and they've worked their absolute tails off on it because. It was all finished. The basement, there's 3 levels there. It was all finished, but it was all very outdated and not in like a historic-y, churchy way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense.
There's some outdated things that are worth saving. Then there's others that are just like, this doesn't really work.
Well, I remember going to Bible school there one time.
Did you?
Yeah, my friend Jason Krebs, who's now the city attorney.
Yeah, I know.
For Rogersville. His family went to the Methodist church there.
Gotcha.
And we went to the First Baptist church here in town. And so, one time.
Which are really very close to each other.
Yeah, you can easily walk from one to the other. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's a really neat place, though. Got a ton of history in the town because it's been there a long time. And I'm going to argue this: it's one of our very few historic of buildings.
Yeah, no, that's really true.
There's not many.
There was there are a few older ones there. On Main, right over by Joe's place. And then, but the big the building we had, it was a Masonic built.
I've heard of this, yes.
That was where the grocery store was.
Yes.
And then the Mason meeting room, I think, was...
On the top,
on the top of
I've
that.
I've seen a picture of that.
I remember when it collapsed.
Which is wild.
Back in the day. But, yeah, no.
Yeah, so, it is a neat place, and I'm hoping that, the right buyer comes along that's got big plans for it.
Yeah. Do you think it's... best use is as a residence or maybe as a venue type?
A lot of people have been looking at it for a venue. I'm always open to all possibilities kind of person.
Yeah.
But I think in general, it probably has a higher use above just a residence. We call that highest and best use of properties. Mm-hmm. And I think there's probably a niche there that is something beyond just a residence. The zoning would probably have to be changed to do that, but I don't think you'd have any major issues with that. It's just a process that you have to follow.
Is it zoned residential?
It's zoned, interesting question, non-conforming residential, which is the zoning that Rogersville has used on church properties, right? Because they're not, commercial. That's what when we bought the old senior center, which is now Sue's Bakery in our office, it was zoned non-conforming residential because it was a nonprofit, right?
Senior
building.
Center.
It was a senior center, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what they used for churches in town. So currently, as it's zoned, it can be a church or a residence.
Okay.
Because it's non-conforming residential.
But it couldn't be a business, a for-profit business.
You'd have to change. You'd go through the rezoning process and have it changed to commercial.
And I guess maybe, is there? What's the park? I mean, everything downtown parking is kind of a situation. So
there's a lot of comments about that, and you're right.
And I don't know.
That's the first thing. So to the north of that, there is a grassy area
a grassy knoll.
A grassy knoll. And it's kind of interesting. I kind of learned over the weekend, because it obviously was a church, and at one point it was a highly attended church. So where did people park? Well, I guess as the road kind of curved, was changed there.
Yeah, it took out some parking, I think.
Took out some parking, and then they put in a sidewalk, which, I mean, I've talked to the city about that situation because, there's kind of a meandering sidewalk on one edge of the property, and, it's...
Well, and I guess you could park at the library. And it's a short walk. That's
kind of an interesting thing that I have encouraged people to look to adding some downtown parking. Mm-hmm. So there's that area that, where the caboose is, where there's some parking, and that kind of serves overflow for the school administration office and now the license bureau, because they both have parking lots, but they're not huge, and it's not a ton of spaces. And hopefully the license office becomes so busy that they need all that extra parking.
No, we don't want that.
No, we do.
We want it to be very, so that we can run right in and get your stuff done. You don't have to wait.
I think in theory that's great, but I think, unfortunately, license offices have to produce certain numbers for them to remain.
I think that's true. It's kind of like the restaurant. Casey Stengel famously said, nobody goes there anymore. It's too crowded.
Yeah. So I think you want your license office to be really busy. So, you continue to have a license office. But, and I don't know the specifics on that, but I would just assume that, because it's a whole state awarded contract now, it's a whole thing.
Yeah, it's a thing.
And so I think we need some more downtown parking, but, I think as it sits right now, I think there's the parking that you would need for that place is there on site. You just have to create the parking lot. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think you got to make the parking lot.
There's a parsonage there.
The parsonage it was detached and sold at the time that the church was sold. It's owned, yeah. The tenants actually at the time bought it, and they live in it. So it's a residence. The parsonage is just a straight up residence, a different parcel. So it's kind of an interesting deal. And, I always make the thing people love to talk about parking issues. There's no great parking downtown anywhere, right? I mean, there's, that was before the days of large parking lots.
No, I mean, I had an office in downtown Springfield for 10 years, and that was everybody's always their complaint is the parking. Like, I get it,
You figure it out.
There is parking. You might have to walk. If you were in New York, you would think we had the best parking ever.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a free parking garage 3 blocks from my office.
Well, I mean, we are not a walking culture here.
No, we drive to get the mail.
We drive everywhere, but the thing about that building that's really interesting is it's massive. I mean, it's 8,500 square feet.
Well, I really wanted to come and see it. Yeah. It wasn't working out
We'll try to get you in there, to get you to come see it sometime. It was a very busy open house. I had a lot of people come, which is good. Rogersville typically is not a hotbed for open house activity. We have them, but like Springfield, it's kind of a culture. You get out on Sunday afternoon and you go tootle around and look at open houses.
Even if you're not interested in buying a house,
you
just do it.
Just to do it, which is fine. I mean, it's funny because people will come to open houses and be like, oh, is it okay? Like, I don't intend to buy this. Well, yeah, come on in. Sure. I mean, as realtors, we want people to see the property.
Just don't eat too many cookies.
Yeah, I don't do cookies.
You don't do cookies?
I don't do cookies.
Well, forget it. Never mind then. If there's no cookies.
There's a number of reasons I don't do cookies.
It's like the all the other estate planning lawyers that have their talks and they give you a steak dinner. Yeah, I don't do that.
No, I don't do cookies.
I have plenty of entertainment all on my own. I don't need to feed you.
At the end of the day, here's my thought on that. You are in someone's home. Mm-hmm. And when I am in a house doing an open house, I'm responsible for that person's home, which means I want to make, which is a big deal.
Sure it is.
I think a lot of people are too casual about that, and you need to make sure that you're not. I don't want a kid walking around with a chocolate chip cookie at an open house and dropping it and mashing it into a white carpet. Or I don't want someone, who's allergic to peanuts, me accidentally poisoning them or something. I don't want that either.
That'd be unfortunate.
So we don't do that, but a lot of people do, and which is totally fine. It's just I don't want to add other elements of potential problems. That's just me.
Well, I was just, anytime something like that happens, I just there's I'm going to say gimmick. I don't know that it's a gimmick, but I always wondered, is that really adding anything to the situation? It's like, oh, I wasn't going to buy this house,
but you got me.
But I got a cookie.
Well, enticements are against the rules in real estate. You cannot offer enticements to purchase properties.
Yep.
So even a cookie is a cookie. Anybody can walk in and have a cookie, but you can't be like, hey, if you buy this house, I'll give you $5,000 gift card to Walmart. You can't do that. It's illegal. So
as it should be.
Yeah, as it should be. Absolutely. So, but it's, and this is maybe a boring subject, but it is, it's relevant. People are curious about real estate and how these things work, and every agent does it differently, but I do go back to the property. It's incredibly neat. And I hope that it becomes something. I hope, number one, I sell it for my sellers. That's the goal, right?
Yeah.
But mainly, it would be cool if it becomes something that's part of the future of the town.
Maybe somebody wants to start a church.
Yeah. Well, and what it's interesting you say that. We have local realtor pages, right? Mm-hmm. There's always people looking for churches, congregations looking to grow. Mm-hmm. And that's all over because, we have a lot of churches in this area. You
know what would really be cool down there?
What would be cool?
A restaurant.
I know what I want, but I'm not even going to say it just because, I'm here to market the property as a whole, and I don't want anybody to think, well, she's not going to sell it to somebody unless they want to do this. No. That's not the case at all. But it would make an incredible,
amazing, like upscale.
Yes. Whew. Yeah. Well, and it's like the Finley in Ozark was in a church, and it had a speakeasy in the basement, and they closed a while ago.
How about a speakeasy in the basement of the church?
Yeah, Beth says Will's Steak and Ale. I like it. There's where Will's Steak Restaurant.
Yeah, I need something else to do, but I appreciate it.
But it was, as a speakeasy, it was an incredibly nice bar area, right? As nice as it could be, and there wasn't anybody getting belligerent there. It was a really amazing place to go eat dinner. Yeah, it was super. Did you ever eat there?
No,
it was super cool, and I think. I think their business was fine. I think they just got tired of running a restaurant. Yeah. Understandably, it's a ton of work, and the people are working very hard in Rogersville right now to do that. And I think last I knew it was for sale.
Yeah. But
yes, it would make a cool. I think of it as like it could be a restaurant venue. Mm-hmm. There's lots of things you could do.
It could be dinner and a show.
Dinner. I've thought about that.
Still stage there, right?
Oh yeah, there's a stage.
Yeah, how about that? Dinner and a show right here
super
in
cool.
downtown Rogersville. That would be sweet.
But it is a very neat, and this is fun.
Hi, Elkin. I see you're watching. We already talked about you, so.
Some buildings have, I hate to say it, best way to describe it is feelings. Like, it's weird. Like, there's some properties you walk in and it's like, okay, it's a house. It's a building, whatever. And then there's some you walk in where you're like, I don't know, this doesn't feel great. And then there's others where you're like, this feels good. Yeah. And that's one of those places. It feels good. It's got a good feel.
Well, speaking of working hard and running restaurants and getting tired.
Holy guacamole.
Thank you, Rogersville, for making our new restaurants work their tails off.
They've been busy.
Because they have been
very busy.
You walk in, you could just see it on their faces. They're happy and tired.
Yes. And so that's wonderful. And we've got... I think it's exciting because I think we've filled in some gaps. Yeah. And I don't want anybody, we're kind of helping promote these new restaurants, but I don't want anybody to think we don't support the old ones, because the fact is we do and did.
And we have.
Still do.
Yeah, we still do.
But I will say this happily. Guess what I did not do last week?
Go to Springfield.
I did not go to Springfield for lunch one time last week. I didn't. I went to Springfield for other stuff, I think, but I did not go and eat in Springfield.
Yeah.
Because I have a place that I feel like I can, because I'm not like you. I'm not going to somebody that's going to eat at the same restaurant every morning for breakfast or for lunch or whatever. I like variety.
Sure.
And so now I feel like I've got, between Sue and Brenda, right, in my neck of the woods, Specialty Sweets and Time to Loaf. And then now we've got Doug and his crew at Divine, and we're going to try the hibachi truck tonight.
Yogasaki.
And
we should have somebody from Yogasaki here on the show,
which is exciting,
next week.
Which is very exciting. I'm excited to try their food tonight. My friend Shannon and I are going to eat it. And,
Beth sure is.
It's wonderful to have choices. And here's the biggest thing to me: if you have choices, more people break the habit of running into Springfield because they need to spend their tax dollars here. Yeah,
we're growing the pie. That's something that I think everybody's got to get their head around. Is it's not more people fighting over the same crumbs. All of these restaurants, they're helping make the bigger pie. So you may get less of a slice, but it's a bigger slice.
It's a bigger slice.
It's a bigger slice. So it's better all around.
Yeah.
Because now people can eat here.
They can. Yeah.
I still think you're right. I think it would be great to snag a billboard out there on Highway 60
east
of town.
I think somebody needs to do this.
And just go eat Rogersville.
And even jokingly, like I told someone this, I don't want a bunch of realtors and insurance people on it.
No, I mean, seriously, eat Rogersville.
Eat Rogersville,
yeah, and we'll put the
where it's like a list of our restaurants.
I may start working on that.
Like I am an east of Rogersville person, right? We grew up east, where we came through Rogersville to go to Springfield to go to Sam's Club or go to the doctor or whatever, or shop. I feel like now is the right time to pull those people off the highway because Springfield is a different bird than it used to be. And so I think you could pull that corridor of people off the highway.
I think I'm going to work on this.
Yeah.
Because, I don't have anything to do.
No,
I'm
you're
bored.
not busy at all.
Kind of bored, looking for a project.
I know. We need a eat. Well, they have those like along the highway. They're like MoDOT signs
the blue
that have
ones.
the restaurants. But yeah,
I don't know what the story is about.
I don't know what the story is either, but yeah,
we could use one of those. We need somebody to hook us up.
We need a MoDOT.
We need a blue sign.
Figure that out.
Yeah, we need a blue sign for
No, because the more Rogersville people are spending time and shopping in Rogersville, the better it is for everybody. It's the high tide raises all ships type situation.
Indeed.
So
and
it's
the
exciting.
tide is rising.
It is rising.
Yeah.
It is a delicious tide.
A tasty
It is a tasty tide. It's not red tide. It's tasty tide.
I love it. Good deal.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, you had a birthday yesterday, Will. We're trying to were you ignoring that, or are you just
No, I'm not ignoring it. It's just, I'm 53.
53.
Who cares? But,
the adult birthdays are different.
Falling like an old man, breaking things, and that's the way it goes.
Just doing some old man birthday stuff.
Yeah, it was fun.
Your wife's post was very sweet.
Yeah,
it's obvious that she likes you and wants to keep you around.
I'm
it was
pretty fond of her too.
She's a keeper.
Yeah, no kidding. But no, yesterday I came to work and
adulting. Yeah,
I had lunch with my mom and dad, my sister, and Peter came out. We had lunch at Divine. And,
very nice.
I got something I really been wanting for my birthday.
Okay,
Mom and Dad got it for me. I got some soup mugs.
Oh yeah.
So I got a set of 4. This is as high as I can raise this arm. So this is as far as it's going. But the little mugs, they're about that, like a bowl. Thanks, Beth. Oh, when's your birthday, Beth? Let me know. So and then they got a little handle on them. But I like to sit, because I'm an old man.
Yeah.
I like to sit in my recliner in front of the TV and eat soup. So now I've got a big bowl with a handle on it, and I can sit and I can watch, reruns of MASH and old TV shows.
Oh, I love it. It's so great when you get to the age where you just don't care about your, the fact that you're older.
Yeah. Well, I was telling somebody the other day, it says, the older you get, the less life in prison means.
March 2nd.
March 2nd. Okay. Well.
The less life in prison. Yeah, a life sentence.
It's less of a deterrent than it used to be.
That's so funny. Oh, man. Oh, speaking of you being old, I've been listening to your Grunkle Will's playlist.
Oh, yeah?
It's good.
You like that?
Yeah. A lot of that, not a lot, some of it, a good chunk of it, the Dwight Yoakam stuff already had on my Spotify.
I love my Dwight Yoakam, but...
I do too. We went and saw him when he came to the Galois.
I never got to see him in concert, and I really want... No,
it was good.
Speaking of Jason, again, Krebs, he said that he saw him, I think, not the big downstream, but there's another casino over there.
Buffalo Run, probably.
I don't know. I think it was one like nobody had really heard of, is my recollection.
Never know.
Dwight was there. He went to see him, said, just as good as he's always been.
It's amazing, yeah.
Just killing it.
He, the show that I went to, and I'm assuming he does this on all shows, said it was at the Galois. I can't remember how long ago. Was it 5 years? Was it 10 years? I can't remember. But it was
what happens, Lauren.
Somewhere
I'm telling
in there.
you.
If I don't have a marker in my mind to remember the time, I'm not going to remember when it was. And he started played absolutely nonstop.
Yeah.
And it was like you turned on a jukebox.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah. A lot of those guys, what I want to say is going to sound kind of backhanded derogatory to other people, but what I want to say is those real musicians, that's what they do.
Yes.
Because I've seen Willie Nelson, I don't know, 4, 5 times in concert, just like that. Walks out, doesn't even say howdy.
No.
Just like bang, bang. It's always Whiskey River.
I'm here to do my thing.
Starts with that Whiskey River and then just plays for an hour and doesn't stop and maybe says, he's got somebody with him and say, okay, so-and-so is going to play now, and that dude will play a tune, and then it's back to Willie for a while.
It's a different type of concert. It's a different...
there's no costume changes, no set changes, none of that stuff.
No.
Which I love. I'm just here for the music.
It's an old school... It's a different type of concert, right? It totally is. And there's a definite change in concerts and musicians. There's no doubt about that. And but it's a very different deal than a big massive concert production.
13 track rolling in. Well, I actually decided I wanted to try to just watch some concerts like on TV, and so I was Googling and YouTubing, and I found some Willie Nelson, and I found some Dwight Yoakam, but then I found like there's this Kello app, Qello.
Okay.
That all it is concerts.
Interesting.
And so I got it, and I paid the $1.99 subscription, and I was completely disappointed because like it's all new poppy stuff.
Yeah.
There's very little of what I was looking for on there. But I did get a Toby Keith concert, and so I watched
Toby Keith.
I watched the Toby Keith concert.
Bad deal.
Yeah. Sorry to lose.
Do you know
him.
the biggest concert, most attended concert of all time? Do you know what it is?
I don't think I do.
Right after the, I guess, Cold War ended, that was in the 80s.
Yeah, 1989.
Metallica played, I believe, in Russia.
Yeah.
To 1.6 million people.
Wow.
Look up videos from it.
Oh, yeah, I will.
It will blow your mind.
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, it's like something out of a dream.
Where do you even do that? Just in a huge field, I guess.
It was in a huge field. And I mean, it will blow your mind. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah, I'll have to look at that.
And so you'll have to look it up. But
well, I may drop my playlist link in the comments then if anybody else wants to listen to Grunkle
Will's
and like Hillbilly Rock.
My playlist over the weekend, the These Dreams playdlist was, I mean, I understand these are cheesy, happy 80s, 90s songs.
There's a time and a place for that,
for
sure.
I mean, I don't think people quite understand the variety of music I listen to. It is literally all over the place. And so I'm like, I woke up. Well, actually, Jesse was watching something, and it played that Heart song, These Dreams, and I started making a playlist, and it started building, and it went on and on and on.
Because it'll be like, how about these songs? How about these songs?
And I'm like,
maybe you want this song?
No.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
No.
I'll take that one.
2.5 hours of incredible 80s and 90s chart-topping hits, right? And again, these are not the most musically creative, produced, amazing songs ever. They're just a whole lot of fun. And we ended up going to Branson Saturday, and we listened to that the whole way there and the whole way back. And at one point, Jesse's like, how long is this?
I'm fairly eclectic too, because I'll switch at some point. But I ran Drury College's radio station for 3 years while I was there, and so
cool. It's
I
fun.
have this massive collection of late 80s, early 90s alternative pop stuff. You know, like Depeche Mode, Erasure,
awesome
Alphabet
stuff.
Box,
Yes,
New Order,
stuff.
all that kind of jazz. And I made the mixtapes, literal mixtapes, cassettes.
Yes.
For my fraternity's dance parties.
Oh,
we'd have a party and we'd always make a mixtape. And I made them, and I had one, and I wish I still had it.
Was it epic?
It was epic.
Yep.
I mean, I kept it for years. But it was a double cassette. I had a double cassette case.
Yes.
And it was 2 full cassettes and it was near perfection.
Oh man!
I wish I'm sure it's lost to antiquity at this point.
When you get a good mix of music, it's a thing.
Well, and there was a formula, there was a ratio that I had in my head as to how the songs had to flow into each other.
Yes.
And so you couldn't just have this disjointed, like, this is a fast song and then it's got to make sense.
I want this tape.
I know.
Darn it.
I think it's gone.
Where are you, tape?
I think
that's
it's
like
gone.
the holy. That's not the Holy Grail, but it's like the something Indiana Jones would be looking
epic
for.
Sigma Pi mixtape.
Sigma Pi mixtape.
Sigma Pi mixtape. I can tell you right now that it's a double cassette case, and I colored it in because the colors were purple and gold were our fraternity colors, and so it's got a Sigma and a Pi on it in gold, and the rest of the background's all purple.
If anybody knows where this artifact is,
you can find it.
It's worth probably millions at this point.
Could be, yeah.
The mixtape. I am the generation of we were stealing music off the internet and burning CDs.
Yep.
And we had access. We were like the first generation, mine, that had access to do that.
Yep.
Which was illegal, turns out. And crashed your computer because they were like full of viruses and stuff. And we had no idea what we were doing and how to navigate the internet. LimeWire, that was one of them.
Mm-hmm. I remember.
And then, speaking back of Metallica, Lars went and ruined that for everybody.
Yeah.
Anyway, which is fair, right? They should get paid for their music.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's what they do. They're artists.
And now we've basically figured that out.
Yeah, we figured out with the Pandoras and Spotifys and whatever.
Which is
But
how
I
it's
mean,
supposed to work.
my generation cut our teeth on blending all kinds of music together to create epic mixtapes, mixed CDs.
Well, we had to have the double cassette deck.
Yes.
And I actually had access. I had an album record player too.
Yeah.
So I could spin vinyl and then record it on there.
Yep.
But yeah, I didn't have CDs to work with.
Ours was click.
See, you guys had it easy.
Oh, we had it very easy.
You had it real
But we
easy.
also had access to just like everything, which is why I think I like so many different types of music.
But I had it was like a 4-song kind of it was 4 or 5. I think it was 5. So you'd have just kind of a mid-tempo song.
Yep.
Then you'd have a couple fast songs.
Yep.
You'd bring it down a little bit, and then you'd drop in the slow song.
Slow jam.
As the grandparents said, that belly rubbing music. Yeah? You ever heard that one before?
No.
Yeah, it's belly rubbing music.
No, but when I dances, they'd come in. You know, they'd have to be able to stick a ruler between you and your partner at like middle school dances.
This was college, so
belly rubbing. Jeez.
And then you just take it. You just repeat. Just take it back up again.
Oh man, there is nothing like a perfect mixtape.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Kids these days, they'll never have the joy of making a perfect mixtape.
Well, they do. It's Spotify.
Yeah, playlist. It's not the same. You can't go, I made you a mixtape.
No, and there's
like,
there's
hey, I'm
no
texting you a link.
It doesn't. Yeah, it's like, would you listen to my playlist?
It's not the same.
It's just not the same vibe. Oh, but it is fun. And I mean, I don't know. Music to me is like, it's such an important thing. And I know there's some people that just don't care to listen to music much, but holy moly, it's incredible. I mean, it literally can change your mood. It can, you know what I like to do?
Yeah, Shauna, I never did much of that, but
yes, we record off the radio.
You could, yeah. I had, since it ran the radio station, I had access.
To all this stuff.
Yeah.
Remember when you used to call into radio shows and request songs for people?
For sure.
It was awesome.
Yeah. Saturday night dedication.
And you just sat there at home listening.
The song is going out to Amanda from Jeff.
Oh my gosh!
You know what love was meant to be. Get the Air Supply in Chicago going.
They called it Pillow Talk in the country station in Houston, and like Cheeseburger in Paradise.
There you go.
When they got requested for
James
people.
Buffet.
That's awesome.
There's all those like really funky tunes, and I know we got to land a plane and shut the show down because we got places to go and people to be.
It's a fun subject though.
But there was just some funny songs like I don't know if you remember the one. There was one. It was No Parking on the Dance Floor.
No.
Yeah, that was.
I'll have to look that up.
Used to throw that one in every once in a while. I think that was one of those one-hit wonders.
Yeah.
And Kajima Gugu had their stuff out there. Too Shy. Yeah, I love the one-hit wonders.
Me too.
I think I maybe have a Spotify playlist that's just
one-hit
all one-hit wonders.
Oh, they're great.
Yeah.
They made a movie about that, The Wonders.
Oh, really?
Have you seen The Wonders?
No.
It's a great movie.
Oh, I'm gonna have to.
Tom Hanks, The Wonders.
Okay.
You have to. Well, actually, it's called That Thing You Do.
Now I have
You've
heard
seen
of that. Yeah,
I
haven't seen it, but I've heard of it.
Watch That Thing You Do.
That Thing You Do.
It's awesome. It's
right.
a great movie. It's about a one-hit wonder, The Wonders. But it's awesome.
I'm very interested.
No, but I think that's a good spot to land the plane.
Yeah.
Music, it's an awesome thing. If you're in a crappy mood, you know what I do though? If I'm making different types of like ethnic food, I put music on from that country, and it's super fun.
When I was making gumbo, I said, "Hey Alexa, play some Zydeco."
Boom.
Boom. Getting some Cajun.
And it helps you with that essence.
Got a little Cajun in the kitchen when you're doing all that. It's pretty good. All right, we're going to get out of here. We'll see you next week. We've got some people, hopefully, Andre from Yogasaki Food Truck is going to come. He's going to tell his story, too.
I want to hear his story.
He asked me, do you just want to hear about the food truck or do you want to hear my story? I'm like, no, I want the whole thing. Thanks, Beth. You have a great day, too. We will see you all next week on The Waffle.